do now is try to make a lighthouse. Actually, before I do that, when I did hit F12, I noticed that my scene's rather dark. Okay, that's because I only have one light source in here right now. Right there's my one single lamp. I have right-click to select it. In the top view, I'm going to hit Shift-D to duplicate it and put another light over here. Maybe I'm going to take this initial light, hit G to grab it, and move it over here. Okay, so again, Shift-D to duplicate. Hit F12, now my scene's lit up a little bit better. Okay, and I think I'm going to live with that for right now. Okay, file and save it. Let's save our file, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it into my folder here, and I'm going to call this one just landscape. So again, browse where you want to go. You can either browse to different drives, different folders, find a good place to put it, and after you type in the name of it, you can hit enter twice or hit the save Blender file button twice. The first time you hit enter sets the title. The second time you hit enter would be the same as you hitting the save Blender file. And it will tell you in the top bar at the top of the screen that the file has been saved. Let's go to File and New, and now let's create the lighthouse. So I'm going to delete the initial cube. I'm going to turn off my transform widgets. Again, I don't like to have that on by default most of the time. And just so I know what I'm doing with my view, I'm going to hit number 5 to switch to ortho on my number pad. Then I'm going to hit number 7 to switch to a top view. Okay, we're ready to make a lighthouse. So Shift A. This time we're going to add a mesh, and we're going to add a circle. And over here in your tool shelf, let's hit the fill button and make it solid. We don't necessarily have to, but I think it looks pretty nice. And you can even do the aligned view over here also as well. We're in the top view, we want it to be in this view. We're ready to start using the extrude command to start to shape this lighthouse. In order to shape it, again, I'm going to switch to wireframe. I'm going to hit number 1 to switch to a front viewport. Zoom in a little bit closer. I'm going to hold down the shift and hold down the mouse wheel so I can pan my view down to put that circle down closer to the bottom of my viewport. Enter edit mode. You can't do any edit shaping unless you're in edit mode. All the vertices by default were selected. If they're not, just hit A once or twice so they're all lit up. Okay, so the extrude command is E. With all of them selected, we're going to hit E to extrude, and all of a sudden it's going to automatically lock to the Z axis because it was a filled shape. If it's not, you could always hit Z to lock it to the Z axis. Make your lighthouse as tall as you want it to be. I'm going to go up a few blocks, go up about 3 blender grids. Okay, I'm going to scale it in a little bit to make it taper. Hit S to scale. So E to extrude, S to scale, G to grab, R to rotate are your basic commands. Now that I've extruded that in, now I want to make a little walkway at the top. So I'm going to hit E to extrude. So I have another set of vertices, but right away I'm going to hit S to scale. And I have to get out of it and then hit S again. Okay, so I'm going to scale that out a little bit to make my walkway. We're going to hit E to extrude. Now I'm going to pull up for the thickness of the walkway. I'm going to hold down Shift, hold down mouse wheel just to pan down to focus on the top. We're going to hit E to extrude again. I'm not going to go anywhere with them this time, so I'm just going to hit Escape. And what that did is park those vertices right on top of the previous vertices. Now hit S to scale. Scale those in. E to extrude again. Pull up the area that's going to represent the lights of my lighthouse. E to extrude once more, but I don't want to put them any place, so I'm going to hit Escape. And now I'm going to take those vertices and scale them out to make the roof. Go down. I'm going to pan down a little lower with the Shift key and the mouse wheel so I can pan down. E to extrude once more. This will be the roof of the lighthouse. Go up a little bit. S to scale them. Now if I want them all to go into a point, what can I do with that? I'd like all of those little vertices that are up there at the very top to basically be one. Let's see what I have in my tool shelf. Let's see if I have a merge command in here. And right there it is. Merge all the vertices. When I click it, it's going to say where do you want to merge them. I'm going to merge them all at center. Bam. So now all of those vertices became one. Alright, let's get out of edit mode. Go back over to object mode. Let's go to solid shading so I can see what this thing looks like. And there's my lighthouse to begin with. Alright, so we have that looking pretty good, and we have a basic lighthouse shape. So what else do we want to do with this thing? Well, right now it looks a little rough. If I were to hit F12 and render it, I'm probably not going to see it because I don't know what the camera's currently looking at. And I'm looking a little low on this lighthouse. So, again, I want multiple viewports. Let's do this. Let's drag this viewport over. I'm going to minimize my tool shelf for the time being. Minimize this tool shelf. And I'm going to hit 0 for a camera view here. Again, I'm just trying to show you different ways to look at your views. Select my camera, and it looks like I pretty much just have to grab that camera and move it up. So G, Looks good. You might have to play around with it in your multiple viewports 7, 1, and 3. Get that camera in a good location. F12 to render. There's the lighthouse. But it looks really faced and really faceted. I don't like the fact that it's not very smooth. So remember in the last exercise we kind of looked at setting things smooth. So let's look at my tool shelf here. Let's pull this down. And let's see. Okay, where's my view commands? Oh, it's not selected. Make sure it's selected. Smooth. Okay, there it's smooth. Let's hit F12. Wow, that doesn't look quite right. There's some strange facing going on here. The edge of this walkway I probably want to be sharp, and it's a little rounded. So, what else can we do with this? Well, it's time to start looking at some of our other property buttons over here. Render buttons, scene buttons, world buttons, object buttons, constraints, modifiers. Here's object data. Okay, it's the small triangle with dots. Let's go to object data. And again, my lighthouse has to be selected. Here's a button called Auto Smooth. What that's basically going to do is with Auto Smooth turned on, it's going to look at what you have for a reference angle here. Basically, two faces that meet at more than 30 degrees, it'll automatically smooth it, or actually keep it sharp. Anything less than 30 degrees will automatically smooth it. Let's now hit F12 and see what that looks like. And again, it kept these nice and smooth, because they're less than 30 degrees by default. But these angles are like 90 and greater than 90. It kept them sharp. If I change that angle to something higher, like 80, and hit F12 again, let's see what happens. Okay, I got some different lighting effects on here. If I take this angle really low, like 1 degree, hit F12 again, and now it's not very smooth at all. So 30 is a good default for most things. And that's just automatically going to keep things smooth. Alright, so there you go. F12, render your picture. And now it looks nice and smooth. Save that file. I'm going to call this one Lighthouse. Saved in the same folder. Enter twice. And we are done with this.